Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel. Well, we'll give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. So get ready to smile because coming up, the dinosaur debate may finally be put to rest. A legendary film director may be covering the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and a strip club turned into something completely unexpected. Stay tuned to find out more. It's pretty common for hikers in Israel to find something historic in the dirt. But one recent find is now bringing closure to the family of a fallen Israeli Air Force pilot. ILTV's Nittany Manson reports.
What started as a normal, relaxing Monday hike is now leaving members of the Guri family in Israel with a flood of emotions. Because while walking through the southern desert region of Nahal Faran, the hiker stumbled upon a helmet of IDF fighter pilot Major Daniel Guri. Guri died in a crash during a training exercise in 1984 at only 32 years old, and he was survived by his wife and then unborn daughter. But while his body has since been recovered, his helmet was not. Now, of course, it's been 36 years since Guri's death, so at first, the hiker here did not know what he had found. And upon his discovery, the first instinct was to post this amazing coincidence to social media. It was only later on the car ride home that the hiker realized the significance of the find. But the good news, though, is that his post was enough to get the attention of Israeli Air Force teams, who then did not only contact the hiker, but retraced his steps and recovered the helmet.
סיימנו עכשיו 3 שעות של סריקה קרקעית, רגלית. חיפשנו את הקסדה של גורי, זיכרונו לברכה. היה ברור לנו שהחזרת הקסדה למשפחתו של גורי, בראש ובראשונה לאלמנתו אופירה ולביתו שלא זכתה להכיר אותו דנה, שזו משימה ראשונה במעלה ושאנחנו מתכוונים לעשות את זה.
Well, the helmet has since been recovered, and daughter Dana says that she can't find the words to describe the sense of shock, adding that, quote, "I'm writing this and tears are choking my throat. I have no air."
They say that good things come to those who wait, and that's especially true for archaeological excavations, which can often take years and years to finish. But Israeli researchers from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem are now unveiling half a decade of their work at an incredible Canaanite temple from the 12th century BCE.
Years of cataloging and sifting through the dust of the Northeast Temple at Tel Aviv has paid off again, with a breathtaking new release of ancient artifacts and discoveries. And among them are 2 rare bronze smiting gods found inside the temple's inner sanctum. According to the release, the sculptures measure just under 10 centimeters or 4 inches tall, and they were originally adorned by a silver coating. But researchers also believe one of them may have even been worn as a pendant, and that's far from the only find in Tel Aviv. The discoveries described come from excavations between 2013 and 2017, and other ritual items such as bronze cauldrons, jewelry inspired by Egyptian goddess Hathor, decorated daggers and axe heads, scarabs, and even a gold-plated bottle inscribed with the name of Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II have been unearthed. Lead archaeologist on the project, Professor Yosef Garfinkel of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, says that only once every 30 or 40 years do we get the chance to excavate a Canaanite temple like this in Israel, and what we found sheds new light on ancient life in the region. It would be hard to overstate the importance of these findings.
Now, this next story has been argued within the scientific community for generations, and rarely has any question been so hotly debated. Are dinosaurs warm or cold-blooded? Well, a new discovery may have finally put this disagreement to rest.
For decades, researchers have mostly assumed that dinosaurs were cold-blooded, the warm climate of their time and their connection to modern-day lizards being the hard rock basis for these assumptions. But new revelations about these ancient creatures are changing our understandings, and now their cold-bloodedness is next in line for an update because an international team, including members from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, is saying it has proof of the opposite. But how do you prove the warm-bloodedness of a species that's been dead for millions of years? Well, apparently you look at their fossilized eggs. Using a new method, scientists can now identify at what temperature the eggs were formed. And all signs point to a very warm-blooded Mamasaurus, just like their bird descendants. In fact, scientists even intentionally tested species far from the equator to make sure that environment wasn't a factor. And every test came back the same. The mother's internal temperature was likely between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius, consistent with other warm-blooded animals. Finally, though, while the team admits that it's possible some dinosaurs may still have been cold-blooded or even something in between, they add that it's likely that all dinosaurs eventually evolved to have warm blood.
Now, if you enjoy a good glass of wine like me, this next story is for you. We had the pleasure of checking out one of Israel's biggest wine festivals, but there's one unique thing that all of the wines have in common. Take a look.
When you think about wine, France, Spain, and Italy typically come to mind, but it's actually Israel that's one of the oldest wine regions on the planet. Locals have been producing wine here for the last 5,000 years. And that's why this year, 40 different wineries from around the world are here in Tel Aviv to take part in Israel's own version of the World Taste Festival. Here's the catch. Every single bottle is kosher. So, what makes a wine kosher? Sabbath-observant Jews must supervise and handle the entire winemaking process, all the way from the time the grapes are crushed until the wine is bottled up. And all ingredients used must be kosher.
Kosher wine overall used to be sweet wines. In the last 20 years, we've revolutionized and changed the whole image that you can have very nice dry wines from all over the world. Israel, California, France, Italy, Spain. And the retail prices kept on going up as the demand for quality went up. 15 years ago, the most expensive wine was $20, $22. Today, you have wines anywhere from $20, $40, $60, $80, $150 a bottle from Napa Valley or from the Golan Heights or from Bordeaux, because people are looking constantly, give me something better and better and better. And it's unstoppable. There's zero difference in taste and quality between kosher and non-kosher wine at all. And the proof is, look at all the people here. Most of them don't keep kosher, and they're enjoying the wines. Israeli wines have nothing to be ashamed of. They can compete with top Bordeaux wines, top Spanish wines, top Italian wines.
And many of the Israeli wineries at today's events have really special stories to tell.
The Gotz Winery story is like the story of the Jewish nation. When Yaakov and Alma, the founders and CEO of this winery, started building the winery, they looked for a room to age the wine in barrels. They had an ancient cave in the backyard. They emptied it out. One of the amazing things they found is this coin. And this coin is related to the Great Revolt time, 2,000 years ago, with the image of amphora, an ancient dish when they used to age wine, with the engraving for the freedom of Zion. And when they found this, they realized it's a calling to continue this great legacy of Jews making and producing premium wine from this area thousands of years ago. So l'chaim, and drink Israeli wine.
The legendary film director Steven Spielberg may soon be coming out with his next Hollywood hit, and it could be about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
When an Israeli father and a Palestinian father each lose their daughters in war, the last thing they can anticipate is coming together in the midst of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But the story of their grief turning into activism may soon be turned into a Hollywood masterpiece, now that Steven Spielberg has acquired the rights to a novel that tells their story. The book, A Pirogon, hasn't even been published yet. It's expected to be released next week by Random House, but it's already been labeled one of the most anticipated books of 2020 by the New York Times. And that's why Steven Spielberg and his production company, Amblin Partners, have already purchased the rights to turn the novel into a movie. And judging on their past successes, we may have a massive hit coming to theaters soon. Amblin Partners co-financed and produced 1917, the film about World War I that just won 3 Oscars this week.
After years in development, Israel is finally rolling out the production of its new advanced armored personal carriers, and they're built with all the knowledge gained in the 2014 Gaza war.
The 8-ton APC is making its serial debut, and it's a sight to see. At just a fraction of the cost of its contemporaries, the 8-wheeled vehicle combines all the best parts of the Israeli Merkava tank and the Namer armored personal carrier. Starting now, the 35-ton vehicle will be replacing the currently used American-made M113. What does this mean, though? Well, practically speaking, the 8-ton, which was developed both in Israel and the US, goes faster and has better security for its occupants than other models. And in fact, the IDF says the Eitan APC will provide better adaptability to all relevant combat scenarios, while boasting advanced combat capabilities in the world's most well-protected APC. As for its technical specs, well, the Eitan is 8 meters or 30 feet long and 3 meters or 10 feet wide. It rocks a 750 HP engine and can coast at roughly 90 kilometers an hour on pavement. Plus, it hosts vastly improved suspension, body, and armor systems. Finally, it's operated by a commander, a gunner, and a driver, and it can carry up to 9 additional fighters.
After years of public outrage, the notorious strip club, the Pussycat in Tel Aviv, has officially closed up shop, and now it's turned into something completely unexpected. Check this out. Tel Aviv's infamous Pussycat strip club was shut down last summer after years of legal battles between the Task Force of Human Trafficking and Prostitutions, Israel Police, and the Tel Aviv municipality. In a police raid on the club a while back, officers found private rooms where customers could actually receive sexual services for about $100, which according to reports, actually a quarter of that would be given to the club owners. But since its closing, the property was purchased by developer ILTV Investments, who plan to construct residential towers in the area in just a few short years. However, until then, social activists Yakir Segev and Eyal Biram have been granted permission by ILTV to use the building for Jewish learning and social impact programs. So now the building, which once housed a questionable establishment, is now hosting artistic activities, exhibitions, meetings, educational programs, and nonprofits. It truly would be a shame to see this beachfront Tel Aviv space be empty for so long. Tel Aviv is expected to become one of the most popular urban destinations in the world by 2030 if the Tel Aviv municipality has anything to do with it. They've just unveiled a master plan to make the city a top holiday destination.
4.55 million tourists. That's how many people visited Israel in 2020, and almost all of them made their way through Tel Aviv. The Israeli beach city has already been named one of the top 20 destinations for 2020 by Forbes. But that's not enough for the Tel Aviv municipality. They've got a master plan to make Tel Aviv one of the top holiday destinations by 2030, and they've just released it to the public. So how are they going to do it? Well, it all comes down to better branding, an upgraded tourism infrastructure, and more accommodation options. Tel Aviv tourists have apparently complained about the high prices in the city, the traffic jams, the lack of efficient transportation, affordable lodging, and cleanliness in public spaces. So the municipality is on a mission to tackle these issues, and locals are sure to be happy about it. The city is also taking aim at niche markets like promoting tourism from China, which will require having Chinese language signs at major sites. Plus, they want to draw in older tourists, since most visitors are between the ages of 25 to 45. Tel Aviv could also see some major new projects like a jogging course on the water, a floating amusement park for kids, a campsite in Yalkon Park, and a beach zip line into the ocean. Today, Tel Aviv is home to about 450,000 people, but the city is expected to welcome between 3 to 5.5 million tourists each year by 2030.
Life is expensive in Tel Aviv, but to be honest, even though we complain about it all the time, we still choose to live here. ILTV's Natasha Kirchuk went to find out how Tel Aviv compares to other cities in the world when it comes to cost of living, and try to understand why this Israeli city remains one of the top 10 most pricey in the world.
Tel Aviv, Israel. We've got Mediterranean beaches, sexy people, a culinary scene to die for. What's not to love? Well, here's one thing, the prices. Tel Aviv may rank in as the 13th most happy country on the planet, but it looks like happiness is expensive because the city is also the 10th most expensive city in the world. Wondering what that looks like? Well, let's call up some friends from two cities that are tied as the #1 most expensive on the planet.
I'm Dini, and I'm representing Hong Kong.
I'm Nittany, and I'm representing Paris.
And I'm Natasha. I live here in Tel Aviv, where the average salary is about $3,000 a month.
Well, in Hong Kong, it's around $3,994 a month.
In Paris, it's $4,560 $177 a month.
Here's what's crazy though. The salaries in these locations are a lot higher, yet the cost of a loaf of bread isn't much different. Over here, it's $5.09.
I love me some bread.
In Hong Kong, a loaf of bread is even cheaper. It's only $3.91.
A Parisian loaf is $5.66, but at least it's fresh.
Well, what about a bottle of beer? Here in Tel Aviv, it's about $2.94.
What? In Hong Kong, it's only $1.77.
In Paris, a bottle of beer is $2.10, and that's still lower than Tel Aviv.
A two-piece business suit costs an average of $1,940 in Tel Aviv. I'm not saying I know whether or not that's a reasonable price, but what about you guys?
It's still cheaper here in Hong Kong. The average suit costs about $1,874.
Well, the French love a nice suit, so over here the average one costs just a bit more at $2,000.
There's got to be something that's cheaper in Tel Aviv. How about a women's haircut? Over here, it's about $93.
This time you win. In Hong Kong, you're looking at putting down about $112.
And in Paris, $119. At least I have style.
So how is it possible that Israelis are affording to live their lives here? I mean, the bars are practically full every night of the week.
I
try not to check my bank account.
All right, that guy doesn't count.
So what makes the prices so high here? Economists say the high cost of living is due to a lot of things. The cost of real estate isn't pretty. Lots of foreign buyers are dominating the market and bringing up the rent of average Israelis like us. And electricity prices are growing even higher because of the hike on tariffs for imported materials to produce electric power. The price of water is also expected to increase next year because of higher taxes to cover investment in water infrastructure, following Israel's 5th year of drought in a row. Plus, monopolies in Israel's small food industry are also a major cause of sky-high prices. For example, Israel's largest food maker, Osem, has just announced that a third of the company's products will cost even more in 2019. And a lot of Israelis buy from Osem. But that's not all. If you take a look at the elections here, Israelis really fail to prioritize the economy when voting. Let's face it, in the Middle East, security concerns really take the cake. So back to our first line. Tel Aviv, Israel. Mediterranean beaches, sexy people, and a culinary scene to die for. But is it really worth it?
And now let's take a look at some videos that are going absolutely viral right here in Israel.
Love songs are for dreamers, honey, and I may never wake up. And superstition, it is poisonous stuff, but my pain. Come on, baby, kiss me. Come on, baby, kiss me. Come on, baby, kiss me.
If you're planning a vacation to Israel and are wondering where to stay, no worries. It's time for YTV's Beautiful Faces of Israel segment, which is produced by the incredible Inon El-Natan, and we have the scoop on Israel's top hotels.
In recent years, Israel hotels can be compared to the best hotels in the world. Therefore, we're going to show you now the most beautiful and unique hotels in Israel. So take a deep breath. Let's get started. Israel Bereshit Hotel presents luxury in the heart of the desert. With an unforgettable hosting experience, fine dining, luxury spa, spacious rooms, a magnificent pool, and of course, a panoramic view of the unparalleled desert landscape. From the desert, we will head north to Jerusalem, to the most famous hotel in Israel, King David Hotel. The iconic hotel is laden with the luxury and history of hosting world leaders with the finest elegance. In Jerusalem, Jerusalem situates the Israel Orient Hotel, which overlooks the ancient walls of ancient times. The hotel's innovative architecture blends perfectly with the city's glorious past. The guests can enjoy the most luxurious and upscale resort experience with personalized service, outdoor rooftop pool, and indoor pool. In the mountains of Jerusalem, Israel Premium Spa Hotel is inviting you to a particularly romantic vacation. The hotel is located on a vineyard and pastoral vines and offers a unique and luxurious wine and spa vacation. And if we're talking about a romantic vacation, Dream Island Hotel introduces uplifting international experience. 16 acres of luxurious facilities, nature, sports, culinary, spa, lifestyle workshops, summit of good life. Along Israel, there is an amazing seaside strip, Don Acadia Hotel. Nestled on the shoreline, seamlessly step from the pool to the beach and back to relax in the sensational spa, Don Acadia. If you're people with style, the Don Caesarea Hotel is the hotel for you. Escape the routine and dive into the serene. Amidst acres of luscious gardens sits the new Don Caesarea Resort, where happiness is around every corner. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next chapter.
That's all for today's Good Week Israel. Hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Emmanuel Kadosh, and see you next week.